Hi, this is Jill from Gilbert's Bits of Bites, and I'm here. I'm going to show you how to do lifted corners on your frame. This is based on a tutorial that Silky did on the Studio blog and was used in the Layout a Day challenge. The only issue there was that the way Silky showed you would only work in Photoshop, and our Photoshop Elements users were looking for something that did something similar. So I'm going to show you a workaround. Okay, so as you can see, I've got my paper, I've selected my frame. And one thing to note is that I put my frame in the middle of the paper, and you'll see why later. Anyway, first thing I want to do is duplicate my frame. It's Command J or Control J. That gives me this one up here. I name it Shadow. Real original, right? So now what I want to do is I want to turn this thing black. I do that with the hue saturation slider. I guess that's color. Okay. Yeah. So now I'm turning it black. Now I want the next adjustments I make, I want to see what they look like in relationship to the frame. So I'm going to put the frame back on top. And I'm going to sit there and I'm going to blur this, give it some soft edges. And 30. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay. So there's my shadow. Now, the way Silky showed it, and it really kind of made them edges, or the corners, I'm sorry, look lifted, was that there was very little shadowing on the edges, which means I have to make this shadow a little smaller. So I'm doing Command or Control T to transform it, and making sure that I have constrained proportions. I'm going to take it down. I'm going to make it about 98%. That's good, yeah. Okay. Now, so that I have a guide as to where the middle is, sort of, I brought in a guide, and you can do that if you have the rulers, and I like to work with rulers. So now I'm going to do using my Marquee tool, and I'm going to select the top half, and I'm just going to delete it. So now, as you can see, I've got 1/2 of a shadow. So let's drop that. And I don't need my guide anymore. So now here comes the warping part. Now I'm going to do it, a transform. So that's either a Command or a Control T. And holding down my Command key or else my Control key, I'm going to grab this corner and move it out. That's kind of makes it skewed. And I'm going to come over to the other side. I'm going to move it out. Is that good? Let's check it out. Scroll out. Yep, that's kind of what I was looking for. So I'm going to accept it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all, so I have the entire canvas selected. I'm going to do a transform, a Command or a Control T. And if I right click, I'm going to tell it I want to, whoops, nope, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's go away. I need to duplicate the shadow here. So I'm going to duplicate that layer. Now, as you can see, I've got everything selected. I'm going to do a transform, right click, and I'm going to flip it vertically. And as you can see, they matched up. So what I want to do is drop my selection. I guess it doesn't exactly do it for me the way I want it to. Oh, dummy, I didn't apply the transform. Yeah, that could be the problem. Okay, now, as you can see, I've kind of got my corners, but they're on separate layers, and we do want to work with them together. So I'm just going to merge these layers. That's off the screen. I'm sorry about that. Okay, now, I don't like, and you're not going to want the shadowing in the middle. So again, I'm going to select my Marquee tool. And you don't have to be real exact because you're going to put a picture between your frame and the shadow. So you're only going to see the shadow on the outside. And I'm just going to delete that. And now what I want to do is, I really don't want it that dark. I mean, that kind of looks phony. And I kind of want it a little bit bigger. So let's transform it and adjust it a little bit here. Yeah, it's a little bit bigger. Now Silky had her shadow on linear burn. You can do that. I don't see the difference between the two, but there must be somewhere. But now I'm going to take the opacity and take it down to where it's kind of where I like it. And that's it. Now you can group the two if you want, or whatever. This is your frame, and you can finish your layout from here.